guys, it's Taylor from Simply Betta. It's time to put my betta fish breeding system to the test. This is an automatic water change rack specifically made and designed for breeding betta fish. This is amazing. I can press a button and just have all my tanks get a water change. This is a big deal because before this, I had to take hours and hours out of every week just to do water changes, and that really adds up. I have a playlist on the creation of this rack if you want to check it out. I'm going to have the playlist linked below. There's a lot of information if you want to check it out for yourself. Currently, every tank in here has either a fish or snails in it or both. I've been cycling the tanks using my bacteria starter and bacteria food and getting those sponge filters matured. I have a bunch of small males in these tanks from my Tancho spawn I did a while back. She's ready to spawn. She's like, come on, dude, come on, come on. 7 of them. I also have a few males who I would like to spawn in these tanks too. I've been carefully checking the whole system for leaks or for problems for the past couple weeks, and I haven't been able to find any. I wanted to make sure everything just looked perfect before I attempted a spawn, and I think it's actually time to attempt a spawn. I am really excited to test it. I think I'm gonna start with a really nice white half moon pair. It's a platinum white half moon pair who I just think is beautiful. Also, I think I'll try like a fancy koi spawn and an avatar spawn. Avatar is like a black-bodied fish with these really pretty speckly blue scales, kind of like a galaxy trait. Attempting to spawn those ones is gonna be a really, really great test for the rack. The first thing I'll do is I'll lower the water levels in the tanks that I'm interested in. Hey, baby. I'll just drain it with a Python hose. I'm actually just clearing out some debris that's gathered on the bottom. It might be an auto water change rack, but I still vacuum the mulm as it appears. So now I'm gonna go remove my standpipe. If you've seen my previous videos on making the rack, you'll see how I did the plumbing, you'll see how I made a standpipe, and then I can make it removable to make it different heights. So I'll go in. Also, the reason why I lowered the water level is so water doesn't go rushing out the hole as I'm removing the standpipe and suck fish out. I've actually made a small improvement to the design since my last video of the standpipes. They are now attached to half of a union. So instead of just being kind of loose and I can pull it out by hand because it's not glued or fitted or anything, you know, I've glued it and I glued it to a union. So I just unscrew the union, I can pop it off and put on a new union that doesn't have a big vertical standpipe. This is just a beta test, right? I just lost an opportunity to make an awful but amazing joke. Deep down, I could even sense it. Look at me. Ideally, what I do is I'd have like a sponge over this so the fry can't get sucked down on accident. And you can buy sponges that are actually made to put over a pipe because they're kind of like a sponge filter, but they don't have 2 holes. You know, there's just one opening. I'm just gonna put the spare, very fine sponge filter over the end. I used some zip ties actually to secure this sponge on. Not the best solution. I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy a sponge which is meant to put over and be an end cap so I don't have to do the whole zip tie thing. So it's kind of ugly, but it'll do the job. Okay, I got the other 2 out, and I'll replace them with the same thing. Now that the tanks are ready, I'm going to add in my female. I've placed my female fish inside of a smallish cup, and I'm going to place the cup inside of the tank. I'll then observe the behavior of the male and the female, and that will help me determine whether they're ready to spawn or not. I'll gently place the female's cup into the tank and watch for a few different behaviors. I want to see the male get very excited and start showing off and dancing around. He's not uninterested, he's not trying to attack her through the cup. Ideally, he's just really, really excited and flaring. The female shouldn't look stressed out, pale, or trying to escape. Ideally, she's watching the male and checking him out. A little flaring and posturing is probably fine. She's also not trying to attack him through the cup or posture too aggressively. Before my job here is truly done and I can just sort of walk away, I have to do a few things. I lowered my water level just a little bit more. Remember, I have really hard alkaline water. It's not good for betta fish eggs and developing fry. I've noticed I have much lower success rates when I forget to cut my hard alkaline water with RO water. RO water, it's pure water. You can make it at home with an RO unit. You can go to the grocery store, you can get distilled or RO water, usually by the gallon. I will cut the water with that just to make it a little softer. There's my bucket full of RO water. I'm dribbling it down into this tank. Now, my water isn't prone to fluctuation. I have a very high KH. I don't really have to worry about my parameters fluctuating all that much, even when I cut it half with RO water. I'll also adjust the female a little bit while I'm doing this. Now I'll add in a better bubble nest site. I want my males to have a few different places to choose from where they want to build their nests. So I'll just take a little piece of bubble wrap like this with the bubbly side down, put a piece of painter's tape on it like this, and then I'll just float it on the water but adhere it to the side of the tank so it doesn't go crazy and float everywhere. And then I'll put a piece of catappa leaf on top. The bubble nest is going to prevent the catappa leaf from sinking or capsizing, and it will also release tannins into the water, which is great. I do have catappa leaves for sale on my website, simplybetta.com, if you're in the market. Now I'll leave my 3 pairs for a while. I'm actually going to put up some little pieces of paper just for some privacy, right? And hope that my males will start building a bubble nest. I've had my pairs together for hours, and I've kind of been sneaking little tiny looks. And the males are all starting to build their bubble nests. Everything's looking very promising. I'm going to go ahead and put the females in, and then walk away. After releasing the female, let's go over what I like to see and don't like to see. I want to see a female who's clearly interested in the male and the nest site. She's not scared, she's not trying to escape. She's observing the male, she doesn't look stressed. Also, it's great when the female follows the male around when he's showing off or approaches the male kind of in a downward position. Those are all really good signs. It's very normal at this stage though for the male to chase the female off in like an aggressive display and just keep tending to his bubble nest. What I don't like to see is this. Check out this female. She doesn't like the male. She's sparring with him and not flirtatiously. As I was trying to get the footage, the biting and the pecking started, and my first thought would be, wait a second, is she turning male? Young, obviously female betta fish can turn male, just spontaneously. Who knows why? But I can actually see this female's egg sac, so I just think she's too big and aggressive for him, and she just doesn't respect him very much. She does not like him. I removed that aggressive female and I tried another female I had, a dark-bodied avatar type, who seemed like she was ready to spawn. Now we're fast-forwarding a couple days. Let's look at the results. This beautiful avatar pair spawned really quickly, and here's the results a few days later. The male is being a good daddy, tending to his nest, but the fry are now free swimming, which is when I carefully remove the male. Enjoy for a moment what a brand new free swimming little baby betta fish looks like and get those warm, cuddly feelings like I do. This adorable, colorful male was also a good daddy. Man, I love him and how pretty his little white head is. He was probably really grateful that I took that horrible, wretched lady out of his life. He spawned rapidly with the other female who actually liked him. I removed him from the tank as well. This beautiful, long-finned Fabio male over here, well, he was a dud. He had a great nest, a great female who was ready to breed and all interested in him and up in his business, and he just kept chasing her away for some reason. After 3 days of no success, I removed her, and I'll try them again in like a few weeks. Hey, it happens. Am I right? Now I have a lot of microscopic little mouths to feed. Because they're so tiny, baby betta fish need live foods to eat. Tiny little moving, wiggling microorganisms. Some people culture infusoria, which is microorganisms in a little jar and then they feed those to the babies. That's too much work for me. My favorite thing to feed new hatchlings is vinegar eels. Vinegar eels are tiny little nematodes that can be cultured in apple cider vinegar. Literally set up a culture in a container of apple cider vinegar and walk away. And in no time, you'll have tons of vinegar eels. I keep them in a cupboard and I ignore them, and they're great. When I want to feed them to some newly hatched little fry, I run some vinegar eels through a coffee filter. I rinse them with a touch of tank water. I suck out the remnants with a pipette, and I feed them to my preciouses. The nice thing about vinegar eels is that they swim around in the water column and they don't just sink to the bottom. It's like they disperse themselves evenly around the tank and they can stay swimming for a really long time. They rock. I'll feed vinegar eels for the first few days, about 4 to 5 times a day. If you're looking for vinegar eels, by the way, I sell starter cultures on my website. My next food I use is microworms. They're a little bigger than vinegar eels. They're easy to culture in some oatmeal. I swipe little bits from the sides of the container, I swish it in a little water, and I use a pipette to evenly disperse. Less is more with microworms. They sink to the bottom quickly, which isn't a bad thing once the fry are moving and hunting around the tank. But they don't last as long as vinegar eels. They'll die and they'll decay on the bottom of the tank, so feed sparingly to ensure they all get eaten. I also keep snails in my fry tanks to take care of uneaten live foods. If you're looking for microworms, I do sell cultures on my website. After a couple days of growth, I'll introduce baby brine shrimp. Fish keepers love these nutritious little red specks. Baby fish do too. So, funny story, I don't usually go to Petco or PetSmart or like big box stores. There's just none in the place where I live. They're like hours away. But I found myself the other day in the big city, you know, doing some errands, doing some shopping. I had my 3-year-old, I had to kill some time. Let's go to Petco and look at the hamsters. And of course, I can't just look at cute little animals with my little kid. I also have to go look at the entire fish selection and the bettas. Like, oh, look at that one, look at that one, look at that one, and just inspecting all the fish like I always do. And a couple caught my eye. I saw a lovely koi female who, you know, is a little on the young, small side, but I could grow her out a little bit, and that could possibly be a potential spawning pair with my beautiful white-headed, colorful, fancy koi-ish male. And her attitude is probably a lot better than little Miss Sassy Pants. Also, I saw a koi male, or a fancy male, with just beautiful color. His form wasn't that great, but his color is amazing. And I got him. I'm gonna grow him out just a little bit more and then maybe pair him with little Miss Sassy Pants. Maybe she'll like him a little bit better. They're very cute. I'm very happy about this little find. Well, now I have a whole lot of very frequent feedings and water changes to do for a long time. I have some more pairs I really want to spawn, but I'm traveling in like a week, and I don't want to do that so close to traveling and then have to leave my family to care for all these delicate little, very particular baby fish. So when I'm back from traveling, I'm going to attempt a few more spawns. You just wait. You're gonna love these fish. I am really excited to have some fry in the fish room again, to have some life finally growing in this fish room that I've been building very, very slowly for a year now. I can finally work on my hobby. Do you guys remember my Betta Fish grow out system I had? I'm actually gonna be making another one fairly shortly on this wall back here. That's gonna be my grow out system, which I'm gonna have to do pretty soon if I'm spawning all these fish. So stay tuned. That'll be my big summer project. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you're as excited as I am about all these little baby fish. I love it and I'm so happy. Thanks to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Just throwing like $1 at me every month. You really help me buy supplies for my project, which is huge. So thank you so much, patrons. I really appreciate that little support. It really helps me. Have a great day and I'll see you next time.